Hey, good morning. This is your boy JR, aka Lomos Travels. Hope you guys and gals are all doing well out there. And yes, I'm a big Indianapolis Colts fan. Go Colts. I think Matt Ryan's going to be really awesome for the Colts. Uh, Colts got a really good lineup going on. Let me show you what I got going on. I got coffee, uh, oranges, navel oranges, Mediterranean flatbread. It's got tomato sauce, diced tomatoes, feta cheese, and black olives. Light half and half iced tea lemonade. This is bubbly sparkling water, cherry bubbly sparkling water. And I got the bubbly lime sparkling water. I love what it says. It says, oh, hi. And then on this one, it says, hey, yo. So, pretty funny. So, anyways, that's what I got going on food wise. And yeah. And I put almond milk creamer in my coffee. So, I got almond milk creamer going on in my coffee. So, hopefully, the sound's doing good. I did a sound check before I entered in here. Um, but yeah, my setup. I got my camera also connected into the wall, so I could go a little longer if I wanted to. So, so I'm. It's my my camera was on full charge anyways, but I'm kind of doing a new thing by having it charged while I got the camera rolling. Oh wow, I love almond milk creamer. It's a almond creamer. It's really good. Let's see. Anyways, this is a curry coffee, and I think it's medium roast curry coffee. I got my Mediterranean flatbread pizza here. Mm. So this is on Kiwan bread. It's Kiwan flatbread, feta cheese, tomato sauce, diced tomatoes, and black olives. And I'm sitting out on my back porch here this morning, enjoying my coffee. This is one of my favorite lemonades, half tea, half lemonade, Arnold Palmer tea. Um, Lately, I've been trying to drink less sodas, so I'm practically almost not drinking any sodas at all. The cherry bubbly from Bubbly Sparkling Waters is pretty good. I also enjoy the bubbly sparkling water that's lime flavor. And I picked them up at Meyer. And then I picked up the half tea, half lemonade Arnold Palmer tea. I picked that up at Aldi's. Mm. This flatbread is Mediterranean flatbread. Bread is delicious. So yeah, I'm just chilling out here on my back porch, enjoying my Mediterranean flatbread here. Mm. It's pretty good. So it's Labor Day. Monday morning here. It's about 11:05 in the morning here in Midwest Indiana. So it's Labor Day holiday here. And right now I'm just relaxing on my back porch here. I'm excited about the Indianapolis Colts football season. I think they're going to have a good record. I sense some urgencies on the Colts' part. I have a feeling they're going to make a run for the Super Bowl. But that's pretty much the goal of all 32 teams. Hey, Owen. Good day. It's Owen from the O Show. Good day, Owen. This is Mediterranean flatbread. And it's got tomato sauce, diced tomatoes, feta cheese, black olives. It's pretty good. And the flatbread is quinoa. It's pretty good. So if any of you haven't got a chance to, or for whoever rewatches this live stream, please go check out the O Show. If you end up liking the content of the O Show, make sure you give them a like, comment, and subscribe, and then also hit that notification bell so that each time Owen makes a new video on the O Show, or each time he goes live, you'll get a notification that he's live. So it's a cool channel. So yeah, I think the Colts are going to make a run for it, and I also think the Denver Broncos. Russell Wilson makes me laugh. He's the new quarterback of the Denver Broncos. He always tells the Denver Broncos nation, "Let's ride." We're just about to ask, "What are you eating?" Oh, cool! I beat you to it. And then I also have coffee, half and half light iced tea, Arnold Palmer iced tea, cherry bubbly water, and also lime bubbly water. I'm pretty much almost down to zero soda drinking, which is cool. So, how does sports relate to travel? If I were to go to of course, if I'm going to the home games here in Indianapolis, I get to check out all the beautiful parts of Indianapolis. Let's say the Colts are playing Tampa Bay or something like that. Then I go there, check out beautiful Tampa Bay. Or let's say the Colts go to, let's say they play the Cleveland Browns. I'm checking out Ohio. Let's say they go to New York or play the New York Jets. I'm checking out New York. So that's kind of how sports relates to travel. I'm not a season ticket holder of the Colts, in case you guys are wondering. But I do follow them. I have gone to a Colts game a long time ago. I went to a Monday night game. Matter of fact, it's when they were playing in the RCA Dome. Now they're in the Lucas Oil Stadium now. I'm definitely a sports fan for sure. I definitely love the college football season back. My beloved Notre Dame Fighting Irish lost against Ohio State. What's wild is they kept the game close. So, but unfortunately, especially in football, saying you came close, that's only good in horseshoes, not football. So, but yeah, I think they had, before that football game started, they had Ohio State ranked number 2, and Notre Dame was ranked number 5. But I haven't got to check out the college rankings yet. Um, I imagine that Notre Dame dropped out of the uh, ranked number 5 slot, especially since they lost to Ohio State. I always think college football is more fun when Notre Dame does really well throughout the college year or throughout the college football season. So far, my medium roast Keurig coffee is really good, and I put almond creamer in there. Um, so yeah, I'm hoping, even though they lost to Ohio State, um, hopefully that'll really motivate them to try and win the rest of their games. Because it's really fun when Notre Dame makes a bowl game or wins a national title. So I already heard. I think it was from the show called Live College Game Day. They're going to expand the college playoffs, but they talked about expanding it in 2026. But they did say they may expand it before 2026. They're probably working out all the big money deals, I imagine. So there's big money to be made in college sports, particularly college football. It's super popular. I'm always excited when the college football season comes around, and obviously I'm always excited when the pro football comes around. Matter of fact, I think the Packers are going to play in London. There's going to be 4 NFL teams that will play in London pretty soon, and um, I tell you what would be really exciting would be if the NFL helped start like a European football league, but American style football. That would be really cool because then uh, the champion from that could play the champion on the American side. And I don't know if the NFL is thinking about that, but that would be really cool because, yeah, that, yeah. Well, they always like to say that they're world champions, right? Whenever they win the Super Bowl. Uh, but that would be really cool. But like I said, I don't know if the NFL is thinking about that. But it's interesting they still keep playing games there. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they've played some games in Mexico too, NFL games. They're the games that count. So, uh, yeah, I can't remember who the Packers are going to play in London, but there's 2 other teams that are going to play as well. So it's going to be 4 NFL teams total that are going to go play their games in London, and those games count. They count towards the season. So, so they are trying to create a fan base for NFL teams around the world. So that's kind of cool. So I imagine those the people that are fans of those 4 teams are going to London. I imagine it may be their first time they've ever visited London. So that would be a cool travel sports trip. And what'll be neat is if some NFL players had never been to London before that. That's pretty cool as well. But oh man, and then LSU, Brian Kelly used to be the former head coach of the Fighting Irish. He is now coaching for the LSU. He's the Louisiana State University head coach of LSU. So Brian Kelly's the new head coach of LSU. They lost by 1 point in overtime, and so yeah, so that's got to be tough. I think they were playing Florida State. I think they got beat by Florida State and lost by 1 point. So I caught that game on YouTube TV. I'm really enjoying my YouTube TV. For the past 2 years, I didn't have YouTube TV streaming, and I absolutely love it. I want to say for first time, I think it's $10 off. Don't hold me to that, but for first time customers purchasing YouTube TV streaming, it's got tons of sports, got tons of movies, tons of shows. It also carries your local channels, and now I feel like I won't miss not one college game and not one pro football game because I got YouTube TV Live. It's awesome. A lot of YouTubers did a lot of comparison between Hulu Live and YouTube TV Live. So I have regular Hulu, and then I also got Disney Plus, and yeah, Disney Plus got a bunch of Star Wars on there, and also has original programming. It's got Marvel on there. It has National Geographics on there on the Disney Channel, on the Disney streaming. I also enjoy my regular Hulu. I have regular Hulu, Netflix, Paramount, and Peacock. So I enjoyed the show called Yellowstone on Peacock. And actually, my YouTube streaming's been showing some Yellowstone as well, the show Yellowstone, which is pretty cool. It's got Kevin Costner in it. One of my favorite Kevin Costner movies was Dances with Wolves. That's my absolute favorite Kevin Costner movie. And I don't think, at least to my knowledge, I don't think anyone's made that big of a movie like Dances with Wolves. I don't know if we'll ever see that kind of production again. It was a big, big production, Dances with Wolves. Lots of extras, beautiful scenery, beautiful storytelling in Dances with Wolves. I can't remember the year that Dances with Wolves came out, but if there's some of you out here who's watching this live or rewatches this live stream, if some of you have never seen Dances with Wolves, please go see the Dances with Wolves movie. It's really, really good. It's a good movie. So, I can hear the birds. That's so cool. I hope my mic's picking that up. Hey, what's up? Oh, 1995 it came out. Cool, I appreciate it. What's up, Outdoors Big Matt? How's it going, man? Welcome. So if you guys haven't got the chance to, make sure you check out the Outdoors with Big Matt. Check out his channel. If you end up liking the content of Outdoors with Big Mac's channel, make sure you give him a like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that each time Outdoors with Big Mac makes a new video or goes live, you. What's funny, Big Matt? I almost said the word Big Mac. That's so funny about doing live stream. I don't think I said Big Mac. I said Big Matt. So Outdoors with Big Matt. Make sure you guys check him out. That was pretty funny. I'm pretty sure I didn't say Big Mac. I almost wanted to say, yeah, Outdoors with Big Matt. Sorry about that, Big Matt. I'm pretty sure I didn't mess it up, though. But yeah, the O Show was in here earlier. So make sure you go check out the O Show. Owen from the O Show, really cool channel. And please check out this channel. I think this channel is the first time visiting my live stream. Hopefully, I'm correct about that. So please go check out Outdoors with Big Matt. Please go check out his channel. And then, like I said, um, or if you end up liking this channel right here, Lone Wolf's Travels, uh, yeah, if you notice you're coming here a lot to Lone Wolf's Travels, if you notice you're watching my live streams often, or if you notice you're going to my playlists often, uh, please comment down below on the videos that you enjoy watching. I got Mexico travel videos. I got videos where I traveled from Peru. I got Cape Town, South African travels. You'll get to see what I did there in Cape Town, South Africa. Most recent travel videos have been from Mexico. Like last year, I spent 2 weeks in Mexico. I felt like I was on two distinct vacations when I stayed in Mexico for 2 weeks last year. The first week, I was in Puerto Vallarta at an all-inclusive resort. And then the second week, I rented a Airbnb in Sayulita, Mexico, which was really cool. Yes, this is my first time here. I picked you up a couple days back, and I can't remember where. Yay, that's cool. Might have been on one of the other live streams, or it might have been a live stream I was commenting on. So yeah, hey, what's up, Adrian Gibson? Make sure you guys check out the Adrian Gibson channel. He's pretty cool. Hey, good day there, Adrian. Good day there, mate. Adrian's from Australia. That's why I'm trying to talk like this way. I'm sure the Australians don't really talk this way. Might be New Zealanders who talk this way. Anyways, make sure you check out the Adrian Gibson channel. He's a good mate. Good day there, Adrian. Okay, I'm going to stop imitating the Australian accent, which may sound like a New Zealand accent. That's making me laugh. Yeah, go check out Adrian Gibson channel. He does walkabouts. He's on some of his live streams. He's done walkabouts in Australia. This channel right here, has done walkabouts around Australia, and he's really cool. I love it. Crocodile Dundee, hello. That's right. He kind of talks a little bit like that. You call that a knife? This is a knife. And then he whips out that Bowie knife. That's funny. My favorite Crocodile Dundee movie is actually my favorite Crocodile Dundee movie is actually the first one that he made. That was my absolute favorite. But anyways, make sure you guys check out the Adrian Gibson's channel. He does walkabouts around Australia. Sometimes he's been known to live stream from his bus ride, and then sometimes he live streams from home and he mixes in a little karaoke. Sometimes he has some ladies join his live stream and they sing karaoke along with him. Adrian's not afraid to put himself out there. Very cool cat, very cool guy from Australia. Very nice guy from Australia. Really cool. Adrian Gibson's a really cool dude. The reason I'm showing off your guys' comments is, and let me re-show this comment here. So make sure you check out the Outdoors with Big Matt. Check out his channel. And like I said, if you end up liking his content, please give him a like and subscribe. Make sure you drop a comment down below on all of his videos. So you let him know what content you guys enjoy. And yeah, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the Outdoors with Big Matt channel. And yeah, make sure you hit that notification bell so that way each time Outdoors with Big Matt makes a new video or goes live, you guys will be able to check it out. Same goes for Adrian Gibson channel here. I'm a cool Aussie. I love it. You really are a cool Aussie, Adrian. And same goes for my channel. If you notice you're if you notice you're coming into my coffee morning live stream, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe. And then also hit that notification bell. This helps the channels. So the channels you see coming down below here in the comments, I don't know if it's down here below in the comments or like where I'm looking at, it's because I have it in portrait or not portrait mode. Since I have my device in landscape mode, the comments are right here. But if you guys are watching from your laptop, whoever comments on the live stream might be down below here. So either way, during my live streams, I always share out your guys' comments because I want people to come and check out your guys' channels as well. So this is part of when you see me sharing out your comments, this is my way of promoting the channels that come in here during my live stream. And it's my way of thanking them for hanging out with me during my live stream. So, yeah, and also feel free, any of you that end up joining my live stream, always, or anytime you join my live stream, before you leave, make sure you share out this live stream so that other people can also check out the Lone Wolf Travels morning coffee live stream. So anytime I do a live stream, please always share me out. I'd much appreciate it. And then whichever channels end up showing up here during my live stream, I'll make sure I'll share out their comments. And it's a way to plug their channel here during my live stream. I have no problem plugging people's channels during my live stream. I actually enjoy plugging channels that come, especially those who come and visit my live stream. I definitely don't mind plugging your YouTube channel. I just drank a little coffee drink, maybe choke a little bit. Anyways, I'm enjoying my medium roast curry coffee here. So I just finished my coffee. A little bit of grain there. So I think I'm going to join my Arnold Palmer Light, half tea, half lemonade here. There we go. Yeah, this is one of my favorite half teas, half lemonades. I've tried others, but the Arnold Palmer Light, half tea, half lemonade is my favorite. Sometimes I purchase it at Aldi's, and then sometimes I purchase it at Meijer. I think most recently I may have purchased this at Aldi's. So, pretty good. It's Arizona Arnold Palmer half tea, half lemonade. Yeah, anytime you see me showing off drinks, they're not sponsored. They're not sponsoring me. I like sharing. So sometimes on my live stream, I'll share products that I enjoy drinking or eating. The Mediterranean flatbread quinoa flatbread pizza that you saw me eating, that had tomato sauce on it, diced tomatoes, black olives, and feta cheese, and that was from Nutrisystem. That was really good. So it was a Nutrisystem quinoa flatbread pizza. Like I said, fresh tomato sauce, fresh diced onions, black olives, and feta cheese. Very good. Yeah, and then the bubbly, which I haven't opened up yet. I really enjoy these sparkling waters. They're pretty good. So I'm pretty much drinking zero sodas. If I do have one, it's in a very blue moon. But most times when I go out to eat, I either order a tea or I order a coffee. So pretty much, I've been going to brunch every Sunday at Yaya's, and so far lately I've been ordering coffee. So that's super cool. All right, cool. I just got a text from Michelle Akron, and she just said she's sharing out this live stream. So thanks, Michelle. I appreciate that. And like I said, guys and gals, anytime you come across my live, please just share me out to your communities really quick. and that way I'll pick up some new viewers who will view these live streams, which is really cool. I've compared my live streams to some of the other really big YouTube live streams, and it's really wild. They get about two. Like I think I watched the YouTube channel Black. I think it's called Black Scout Survivor. I believe that's what it's called, or maybe called Black Scout. It's YouTube channel called Black Scout Survival, I think. And he usually has anywhere between 200 to 300 people watching his live stream. But the comment section is crazy sometimes. Sometimes it slows up like this, but sometimes when it's not slow, it's going like this. And like I said, he's got 200 to 300 people watching on his live stream. So, but I'm hoping to get there one of these days. I'm hoping to have that. That'll be a nice problem to have. So yeah, I watch. What do I watch on YouTube? I watch a lot of adventure channels. I like the Outdoor Gear Review channel. That, of course, by the title of the name, the Outdoor Gear Review. He does a lot of tent reviews, knife reviews. Occasionally, he does some bushcrafting. The Outdoor Gear Review does. His name is Luke, and he runs the Outdoor Gear Review YouTube channel. So cheers to Luke, because I really enjoy his gear reviews and his tent reviews. There's another outdoor gear review channel I watch. It's called the Nut and Fancy channel. And the Nut and Fancy channel, he does a lot of gun reviews, but he also does a lot of adventure videos as well. So, but he doesn't view himself as just a simple gun channel. He actually views his channel, the Nut and Fancy channel, he actually views it as an adventure channel. And he does go on adventures, he does go on hikes. The type of camping he does is really wild because he'll park his car and he'll hike really far away from his car. And then once he lives in Utah, and once he's finished hiking away from his car, and then once he's deep into the trail, he ends up hiking 80 miles off the trail, and he ends up going to this remote large lake. He doesn't tell his audience where he's at because he's honest. He doesn't want to end up seeing lots of people at this remote lake that he hikes 80 miles to. But it's beautiful. You get to see animals along the way his hike. You get to see him hike by streams, and it's pretty cool. So if you've never gone to the Nut and Fancy channel, I definitely recommend going and visiting the Nut and Fancy channel. I also definitely would recommend going check out the YouTube channel called the Outdoor Gear Review. Really cool channel. Those are I probably watch those channels a lot. The Nut and Fancy channel, and also the Outdoor Gear Review channel. Those are two of my favorite YouTube channels. The Outdoor Gear Review run by Luke, and then the Nut and Fancy channel run by a retired Air Force colonel. So he did a lot of flying in the Air Force, and he does philosophy videos as well. He even does watch reviews. And once again, that's the Nut and Fancy channel. He does watch reviews. He also do knife reviews. He's reviewed folder knives. He's also reviewed fixed blade knives. He's reviewed small knives, a little bit bigger than small knives, and then medium knives, and then really large knives. Sometimes when he goes camping, he usually carries a really big knife on him because it helps him. Some of the real big knives he's carried on him, the Nut and Fancy channel has, he's able to process large things of wood, and so he can make his campfire. So, and he also carries on him a GPS, and he also carries about 80 pounds in his backpack because he likes. He calls it. He'll bring along. The reason his backpack's about 80 pounds is he likes bringing along. Hey, Fonzo, what's up? Yep, I already had my coffee. That's right. Your boy JR, aka Lone Wolf Travels, always had his coffee. What's up, Fonzo? Fonzo's cool. Fonzo has visited a lot of live streams. He's a really cool dude. When you're doing a campfire again, um, probably when it starts to get into the fall. Occasionally there'll be a few summer mornings where I could get end up doing a campfire. But yeah, I'm waiting for. We're getting close. We're in September. Right now, we're still having summer weather here in Indiana, so it's still getting in the 80s. Probably if I got up really early in the morning, I could probably get away with a campfire because then it's like 50 to 60s. Um, but if I don't get up really early, I can miss out on those 50 and 60 temps. But like I said, September's our fall, so I'm just waiting for fall to really come in. And then once fall comes in, I won't have to get up really early to do a campfire and get up anytime and do a campfire. Of course, when winter gets here, I can really campfire a lot. Yeah, we have spring, summer, fall, and winter. So that's right, four seasons. But what's really wild is the winter seasons here in Midwest Indiana gets really lagging. Um, sometimes, sometimes it'll snow. It won't. I'd love if it would snow in December because that's where Christmas is on. Sometimes it snows on Christmas Day. Sometimes it snows after Christmas. Sometimes it snows maybe the first week in January. And then sometimes the snow comes in the middle of January, or sometimes we can get snow in February. So it's really weird. It's making for a longer summer and a longer fall, and then finally winter will get here either at the end of December or into January. Now, what I like about December is I used to go to Peru every December so I can skip the winters here in Midwest Indiana because it's summertime in December in Peru, South America. So their summer's just starting in December. So there's been a few times I've traveled to Peru and had a sunny, shiny, green Christmas. But if I stay here in Midwest Indiana, which it looks like I'm going to, I'm not going to. I don't think I'm going to Peru this December. So it looks like I'll probably have a white winter Christmas here in Midwest Indiana. Similar like here, so I guess you miss Mexico. Oh my God, Fonzo, I totally miss Mexico. As a matter of fact, I went to Mexico just a few months ago. I went back to the Reef. Uh, so just a few months ago, I went back to the Reef. It's an all-inclusive resort, and the Reef is located in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Had an awesome time in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. So yes, I am definitely missing the southern part of Mexico. Yeah, Peru's very nice. The food's really good. My wife's from Peru. She's Japanese Peruvian. So my wife's a really wild mixture. My wife is Peruvian, Japanese, Spanish, probably some Inca in there, and Italian. And I also think she did the 23andMe thing, and she has a little tiny bit of Jewishness in her. So, but she's Japanese Peruvian. So I'm thinking she got that from her European side. Maybe there were some Spanish Jewish folks or something. Now, me, when I did the 23andMe, I'm almost 99% British and Irish. So that's what the 23andMe showed. And then it showed a little tiny percentage of French and German. So I, but the majority of me, almost 100% of me is British, Irish. I probably got some Scots in there too. But from what the from what my DNA showed, I'm almost 100. I have a little bit of Neanderthal in me too as well. but almost 100% of me is British and English. I'm sorry, it's British and Irish. Almost 100% of me is all British and Irish, and then I have a little bit of French and German, and that's what it showed in my 23andMe thing that I got to do. Yeah, they showed a graph, and it showed that almost 100% of me. Well, of course, you add the British and the Irish together, but it showed the majority of my DNA comes from Britain and Ireland. So that's what the 23andMe showed. Okay, DNA tests are interesting when I. Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. So the only thing that surprised me, I never knew I had a little bit of French and German in my background. I mean, the percentage is really small. I don't know if it's like 0.4. Anyways, I was surprised. I did not know I have a little bit of French and German. So that kind of surprised me. But like I said, the thing that didn't surprise me and when it said that almost 99% of me is is a mixture of um, British and Irish. That didn't surprise me. And then it said I had relatives in Dublin, Ireland, and my mom's mother is from Dublin, Ireland. So that didn't surprise me. So yeah, what they do is they take you. It's a little vial like this, and you put your spit in there, and it tests your DNA from your spit, right? And but like I said, the thing that surprised me is when I saw a little bit of French and German in there. I did not know I had any French and German in there. It's a really small percent. The majority me, the majority of what it or the majority of my DNA says I'm British and Irish. So, but that wasn't a surprise. I knew that from most of my life growing up. I was told that I had English and Irish. So to see that large percent showing up on my DNA, I wasn't surprised. But I was surprised about the little bit of DNA I had that said French and German. So that kind of surprised me. So I wanted to get some Native American. I have zero Native American in my DNA, which is a bummer because I really love Native American culture. So yeah, the majority me is European white boy, which I kind of felt it was. Um, but that doesn't stop me from enjoying Native American culture, or I still love Native American culture. Even though I have zero Japanese and I have zero Native American culture, I still love Japanese culture, and I still love Native American culture. That's rare, so that means you can get the passport as well. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I probably could get a British passport. I mean, I don't think I will, but I probably qualify for a British passport, or I probably qualify for Ireland passport because half of me is, quite a lot of me is Irish, and quite a lot of me is British. So, but I don't have enough to probably get a French or German passport because it's just a really small amount of French and German. So, and then, like I said, it also showed that I had a little percentage of Neanderthal in there, which that was a very the fact that I have a little bit of Neanderthal that surprised me too because that's a pretty old species. Neanderthal is. Yeah, that's a pretty old species of. And I actually wondered where the Neanderthals went, so that was kind of wild. With text, I guess. Laugh out loud. So now my wife didn't know she had that little bit of Ashkenazi Jewish in her. She didn't realize that. Uh, now now the thing that wasn't a surprise on my wife's 23andMe, it showed she had a lot of Japanese because she's part Japanese. Uh, so I wasn't surprised by her Japanese, Spanish, and Italian. That didn't surprise me. We already knew she had that, but we were surprised when we saw the Jewishness that she had. She had a really small, I think it was 0. I don't know if it's 0.2 or 0.4, but Eskenazi Jewishness is in her background. So I'm thinking she may have gotten that from her European side. I'm thinking. I'm not for sure. Maybe she got it from her Spanish or Italian. I'm not sure. But that was a surprise to her that she had a little bit of Judaism in there. So that's super cool. Are you DNA test on your channel? No, I did the 23andMe. Um, I don't know. Maybe you were joking with that comment. Anyways, if you guys really want to know your background, 23andMe is really cool. So you, they give you your spreadsheet of what your breakdown is of all these nationalities you're a part of, and then the other thing that's really cool, relatives. If any of your relatives have done the 23andMe, it'll let you know who are your first, second, third, fourth, and fifth cousins are, and it'll let you know where they are around the world. This is if your relatives also have done the 23andMe. So you can end up filling in your family tree with this DNA you've done from 23andMe. So, so it's really cool. It can show you where all your relatives are around the world are. You didn't record the DNA results. Oh no, it's on a sheet. They send it to you. They uh, they send you an email and it shows you all their background. I printed off the sheet. I don't have it with me right here to show you guys. That maybe I'll do that during one of my other live streams. I'll show you guys my breakdown, my DNA breakdown. It's pretty cool. But but like I said, I wasn't shocked that the majority of me was from England and Ireland. That didn't surprise me. So I knew I had England, Ireland, and Scotland, but I was surprised by the French and German. No one in my family's ever talked about French and German. So, but like I said, it's either my French. I mean, 99% is almost half British and half Irish, and the other 0.2 or 0.4 has a little French and German. So that's kind of wild. Oh yeah, you can upload your email. So that's super cool. But yeah, if you ever really wondered what your background was or what it was in your background, I would encourage you to do the 23andMe thing because if any of your other relatives, distant relatives, have done it, you can end up seeing your other distant relatives and where they're at around the world. So it's really cool. Um, I haven't contacted any of my relatives, but like my relatives up in North Dakota, um, I know they've done it. So I was able to put them on my family tree. Anyways, you just start filling in your family tree. Once, especially if you're related to people who've done the 23andMe, you could just start filling in your family tree. It's really cool. To me, by filling in your family tree with DNA is actually really helpful because then you'll know whether they're a second, third, fourth, or fifth cousin. So that's kind of cool. So, so I probably have some relatives walking around England that I've never met, and I probably have some relatives walking around Ireland that I've never met, and that kind of blows my mind. But the neat thing about the 23andMe, if any of those relatives from those countries ever do the 23andMe, then they'll be able to see that they have a relative here in Midwest Indiana, which is really cool. Super cool. Fonzo says family tree. That's interesting. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you could have a pretty large family. I mean, especially if some of them end up doing the 23andMe, you could end up you could end up finding you have this huge large family that you never knew about, which is kind of cool. I love that about technology and I love that about science. that you can end up discovering stuff about your background. So that's why I laugh about the French and German. I didn't know I had that in my background. Okay, that was my poor version of trying to do a French thing. Et parlez-vous français? This is your. My name is Juan Cristobal Randal. Welcome to the Lone Wolf. Welcome to the Lone Wolf Travels live stream. It's Sagle Bloom. I try to entertain you guys while I'm on my live stream. Most times I think I just make myself laugh. That's pretty funny. Uh, Hell, you gotta have a sense of humor, right? Especially when life is crazy, y'all. I'm gonna admit that. Uh, I'm originally a Texas. I was born in Austin, Texas, but my dad's family is mostly here from Indiana. Some of his family's in Tennessee, but they're mostly all from Indiana. And hell, I got some. My mom has some cousins in Alaska, so that's kind of wild. They came down to visit us one time, which was cool. But the main reason this Texas boy ended up in Midwest Indiana, or the reason I mainly grew up in Midwest Indiana, is really because of my dad, because his family all live here in Indiana. But I grew up a little bit in Denver, Colorado, which is really cool. It's super cool. Oh yeah, I went to a buddy of mine's daughter. I'm glad you asked that, Fonzo. Fonzo said you visited Europe, I think, right? You are correct, Fonzo. I went to a wedding in Germany a few years back, or more than a few years back. Might have been 6 or 7 years ago back. A friend of mine's daughter got married in Germany, so we flew to Germany, and they had a wedding in the castle there in Germany. And after the wedding was over, me, my wife, and daughter, we ended up renting a car and we drove around Europe. And we went to the northern part of France. I drove to the northern part of France from Germany. So we left Germany, drove to the northern part of France. We also drove to the northern part of Italy. We also drove to Austria and Switzerland. Um, the Swiss Alps were beautiful. Um, had a really good time in Germany. What I learned from going to a wedding in Germany about 6 or 7 years ago, what I learned about that is before I went to that wedding in Germany, I wasn't even thinking about going to Europe until I retired or something like that. So, what I learned, sometimes you shouldn't put off trips for your retirement. Sometimes you should save your money and just go way before you retire, because you never know if you're going to have the energy to travel when you do get retirement age. So, save that money and go travel now while you have plenty of energy to do so. Try not to put off your travels until you retire. I'm still working, so I'm not retired. So I like saving my money and I like going on travel. I like bringing you guys along whenever I travel. You guys will know if I ever go travel somewhere because I'll probably do a pre video before I go to that place. Um, I'm pretty sure that's what I did before I went to Cape Town, South Africa. I made a preview video before I went to Cape Town, South Africa. I believed I did the same thing with my Mexico trips. I usually make a video telling you guys, I usually tell you guys when I'm going to leave. I don't usually tell you when I'm coming back, but uh, but I definitely always make a video and tell you guys when I'm headed out there, which is cool. Oh yeah, you gotta you gotta retire. I mean, you got to travel way before you retire because you don't know what kind of energy you're going to have, so, or you don't even know if you're going to make it to retirement age. You might as well travel now. So, but I don't want to see people get in a bunch of debt. So what you could do is, go to your refrigerator, take a little tiny magnet, make a list of places you really want to travel to. Uh, Also make another list how much it costs to travel to those places. and how much your vacation would be during that time you stay there. Really make a list, and then save up for that trip. And then once it's saved, put in your put in your vacation time, and then while you're on your vacation, you'll enjoy it more because you know it's paid for. So that's how I would encourage y'all. I love saying the funny that I said y'all. That's why I would encourage you guys to really save up for your trip. So that way, when you're on your vacation, you're not thinking about your vacation causing you a debt. You already have it paid. So uh, I've done it both ways when I've traveled. Um, I've done the all-inclusive resort when I've traveled. That's really nice because all your drinks and food are covered. But I've also done the other thing where I've rented an Airbnb. Normally, if you rent an Airbnb, you have a living room, a dining room, a kitchen area, bedrooms. Airbnbs are a lot of fun. You can find some really nice Airbnbs, especially in the southern part of Mexico. Um, and then, like when I rented an Airbnb in Sayulita, Mexico, I had a really good time. It even had a small pool just outside the Airbnb, so that was pretty cool. More than likely, if I ever go back to Sayulita, Mexico, I'll probably try to rent that same Airbnb because I like the fact that it had a small pool there. That was pretty nice. But um, but I'm also a big fan I'm also a big fan of the Reef, which is an all-inclusive resort, and it's in Playa de Carmen, Mexico. So if you're ever in the Playa de Carmen, Mexico area, you may want to think about possibly staying at the Reef. There also was another. So that isn't the only place you can stay you can also stay at Cocoa Beach. Is another place in Playa de Carmen, Mexico. You can stay Cocoa Beach and also the Reef. Um, and they had all other kind of all-inclusive resorts there as well. So, but I've done it both ways. Whenever I've been in the southern part of Mexico, I've either rented an Airbnb or I've done the all-inclusive resorts, which I really love. So they're pretty cool. Uh, Now, when I compare the Reef to the Moon Palace, I've never stayed at the Moon Palace. It's called the Moon Palace Grand in Cancun. It is huge. I've never stayed there, but they have round the clock housekeeping. They have round the clock room service at the Moon Grand in Cancun, Mexico. Um, matter of fact, I did a video about that. It's called the Moon Grand. Yeah, the Grand Moon Cancun Resort, and I did do a whole video review about that place. It was a beautiful resort. So there's plenty of all-inclusive resorts to go to in Mexico, especially the southern part of Mexico. So there's so many places I haven't visited, even in the United States here. I have tons of places still yet to visit here in the United States. Now, one of the places that's on my bucket list is Japan. I don't know if I'll ever get to go to Japan, but that definitely is on my bucket list. I love sushi. I love Japanese culture. Japanese Tokyo has been called the city of the future, so that's kind of why I want to go visit Japan. Japan is such a wild. I love Japanese culture, and it's such a wild mixture of modern culture and traditional Japanese culture, all meshed into one. And that's the other reason I want to go visit Japan. I think it'd be wild to go visit Japan. I like the Wilson vlog. Cool. Japan, I want to go there as well. Culture, interesting there. Yeah. Yeah, I find Japanese culture pretty interesting. Um, Even some of the documentaries I saw on the samurai, the Japanese samurai, has been very interesting. Japan has had a really interesting history, especially before Japan opened itself up to the world. Um, for a long time, Japan had been very secluded, and And there is a documentary about how Japan finally opened it. Like one of Japan's rulers decided to open itself up to the world so that Japan can enjoy more commerce and trade. And yeah, there's all kinds of documentaries on that. And I'm sure there's all kinds of YouTube documentaries of how Japan opened itself up the world to the world for trade. Change of the change to modern world was interesting for Japan. Yeah, it really was. Um, Hell, the United States history is really interesting too. To me, the United States is still, the United States is still a work in progress. The U.S. Constitution's got to be one of the most really unique documents as far as how to govern yourself as a country. Now, the British Parliament is also interesting. Um, that form of government's really interesting. The Republic form of government is also very interesting. Um, yeah, all different places around the world have very different ways of governing themselves. I'm definitely love that we're a republic, and I also love the Constitution, the chain. Oh yeah, we're one of that. That's funny you say that. Fonzo says USA history is still young. Yes, but you know what's neat about the United States? We're made up of you have Japanese American, Chinese Americans, African Americans, uh, British and Irish Americans, Scottish Americans, Native Americans, um, Indian Americans, uh, Thailand Americans, uh, Russian Americans. You got all these Americans from all these cultures. And there's this one guy on TikTok. He's called the conservative immigrant, and he's conservative. And uh, he debates with all these Democrats. Well, like I said, he's called the conservative immigrant. And he's from a European country, but he loves all the opportunities America affords him. And but he also gets in really heated debates with liberals and progressives. And but like I said, I follow him on TikTok. I would categorize myself as an independent who leans to the right. Um, uh, yeah, I know YouTubers shouldn't talk about politics. I do love to talk about politics. I also love to talk about religion. Sometimes you guys will hear me talk about both in some of my live streams. Uh, I try to be very careful how I talk about religion and politics because sometimes if you make any criticism about religion or politics, people take their religion and politics as though you're talking about their faith. So I understand that's why people are very careful how they talk about politics and religion because if you make any kind of comment, they hold their politics and religion literally as though you're talking about their faith. And so some people take any kind of criticism of religion or politics very personal, and that's why some people just can't talk about politics or religion. I like the double with Sean Moore and you. Oh, there you go. Oh, I would like to debate with Sean Moore and you. There you go. That's cool. Politics. There you go. I do know I put it on the clipboard. Yeah, I copied it. I think copied it. I copied it to the clipboard and I also put it in the comments, I think. Let me look here. There you go. There you go. I just put it in the chat. politics. I remember that. Normally, if I do debate with anyone, uh, it's more fun to debate with people that are not of my political persuasion. Like for me, I think it would be fun to debate someone who's progressive or who's Democrat. Um, I think the way things go, I think young people start out as Democrat, or I think people like myself could start out as Democrat when they're young, and then eventually, it's like a evolution, right? They start Democrat, and then they start moving to the center, and then next thing you know, they may find themselves as an independent, and next thing you know, they become Republican or conservative. Um, um, I think in my case, I might have been Democrat for a little while, and then I became Republican, and then I switched to being an independent. But the party I currently like is probably the Republican Party. Even though I'm not a Republican, I'm an independent. Uh, to me, what they're saying on the Republican Party side just makes more sense to me than what they're saying on the Democratic side. Careful what you want to say, really. For me, I'm sure you are a good public speaker about politics. I tried to be Fonzo. Um, oh man, there's this one guy. I think he's called Loud Crowder. Check out that YouTube channel, Loud Crowder. He will actually set up a table and he'll debate the public. Um, he'll uh, he'll have a certain topic, and under that topic, he'll say, "Try to change my mind." I would describe Loud Crowder as a Republican who doesn't mind debating. So, but or at least I think that's how he would describe himself. He's a supporter of Republicans. But he also holds what's neat about the Louder Crowder channel on YouTube. He holds both Republicans and Democrats. He holds both parties their feet to the fire. So uh, I like what Joe Rogan said about politics. He said, I think he said this on his podcast. They asked him who his co-host asked Joe Rogan, who do you think people, or what do you think people are going to vote next time around? He said, I think they're going to vote Republican. So, and I think a lot of people are going to vote Republican, at least according to Joe Rogan. He said a lot of people are going to vote Republican because he believes a lot of people have been hurt in this economy. And he thinks that's why the majority of people probably will vote Republican. So I'm laughing so hard. What makes me laugh so hard is the fact that people are trying so hard. The folks on the left are trying so hard to get Donald Trump disqualified. I think they're afraid if he runs on the Republican side, I think they're afraid that Donald Trump will win. That enough people are so upset about how the economy is going that, yeah, they, uh, the Democrats really blew it. They won the White House and they pulled out of Afghanistan terribly. Uh, the Democrats really had an opportunity to shine, especially if they wanted to win the White House for a second term. But the Democrats and Biden's leadership just really screwed up, especially how they pulled out of Afghanistan. We we should have never pulled not one troop out until we got everyone out that we wanted to. All those who joined with the United States in Afghanistan, especially if we knew we were going to, if the United States knew they were going to give Afghanistan back, they should have. I mean, there probably was plenty of warning signs that showed that the military they left in its place probably wasn't going to hold things, right? Or are all the Americans or military people who worked alongside with these people, they should have yelled from the top of their lungs, we, if we're going to give this back, we need to really of course, on Monday night quarterbacking, of course, but uh, I think they were surprised by how quickly it folded. But some of the people that worked alongside these people should have known that, right? And if they did, and they may have sounded the alarm, especially the military, our military that works side by side, raising up the new military. But yeah, so they screwed up Afghanistan, how they pulled out of there. Like I said, we shouldn't have pulled one troop until we got everyone we wanted out of there. Donald Trump will win again. Oh my God, well better than Sleepy Joe. My gosh, he looks like he only got 2 weeks left on Earth. That's true, Fonzo. He looks, Sleepy Joe looks, and then occasionally he comes to the mic and says really crazy things. Sleepy Joe does. Now, a lot of Trump supporters were worried about what Donald Trump tweets, but Donald Trump ran the country along with his team pretty well. I think people just got upset at all his tweets. But it's crazy, man. I mean, I've never seen a party work so hard to try to disqualify because they don't want to run against the guy. You know, um, you think they would be, you think they would not, you think they would enjoy the challenge of running against Donald Trump, but they don't want none of that. And it's pretty wild. They don't want to touch none of that. I just laugh hard. I'm in the little time I've been on Earth and followed politics, U.S. politics. I've never seen someone who didn't want to run against a former president. I mean, it's weird, man. And supposedly they beat this guy the first time around. So why would you be opposed or afraid to run against him? It doesn't make any sense. Unless you're afraid what he's going to do when he gets in that office. I think a lot of the Dems are afraid that if Trump wins the presidency, they're afraid of what he's going to do when he gets in office because he's going to probably remember everyone that did him wrong. So, but I don't know if Trump thinks that way. But to me, anyone can run the country better than Sleepy Joe. My favorite is there was a reporter interviewing a guy. I think it was a football game, and at this football game, they were singing "Let's Go Brandon," right? Oh no, no, no! They were they were saying blank Joe Biden, blank Joe Biden. And the reporter lady didn't want to repeat what the crowd said. So the reporter lady said, "Oh, I think they're saying let's go Brandon." And then from there on out, everyone started wearing these let's go Brandon hats. So, and even Joe Biden himself noticed this comment on his, Joe was doing some kind of live thing. And Joe repeated this phrase, let's go Brandon. He even goes, let's go, Brandon. And it was hilarious because it all started from a reporter later interviewing some guy in a football game. So that's where the let's go, Brandon phrase came. So that's pretty funny. That's awfully funny. But yeah, man. The other reason I would love for him to run, uh, I I think it would be very fun to watch. Yeah, let's go, Brandon. Yeah, I think it'd make politics fun again if they let Donald Trump run and make it more exciting. Now, Joe Rogan did make a very interesting comment, and I guess you could say it's a commentary on American politics in general. Joe Rogan did say, and I think he might have said this during one of Joe Rogan is a podcaster, but he's also a stand-up comedian. And I think Joe Rogan said this during one of his stand-up comedian things. He said, "Why in the world, when we do elect a president of the United States, why does it end up turning into a popularity contest?" Why do we still have that kind of form of government? And he said the people that had wrote the Constitution, the forefathers who wrote the Constitution, may be scratching their heads and go, "Wait a minute, you guys didn't write anything new all these years. Lots of years have passed. You guys didn't add on to it." So Joe Rogan, I think, makes a good point. Why does it seem to be a popularity contest? So, but seriously, now if there's no better option running for president, someone. DeSantis, the guy from Florida, if Trump were to not run but back DeSantis, I wouldn't mind. He was the governor of Florida. DeSantis was. A lot of liberals are afraid of DeSantis. A lot of progressives are. So now, what I would love to see is Trump run for president and DeSantis be his vice president. That would be really cool. Um, but yeah, DeSantis looks like he's doing all the things gearing up for a presidential run. So, and as far as I know, I don't think Trump has announced whether he's going to run in 2024. But it looks like DeSantis is gearing up. He's got a really cool war chest. He's got a cool political war chest of funds. DeSantis does. He's the governor of Florida. The reason a lot of people would probably vote for DeSantis during all these shutdowns and why a lot of things were closed during the pandemic, DeSantis kept Florida open. And, DeSantis made sure, there was a lot of testing being done, but he kept Florida open. And what's funny is a lot of liberals and progressives went and partied down in Florida because Florida's remained open. And here these progressives and Democrats were telling everyone to stay home, and yet they were going down to Florida and enjoying themselves. A lot of politicians got caught doing that, both Democrats and Republicans. I'm not going to say one did more than the other, but both Democrats and Republicans were caught going to people's houses and partying, and they were telling the public to stay home, stay home, stay home, while they were out going to parties and stuff. So, but anyways, the reason a lot of people like DeSantis is he kept Florida open most of the time during the pandemic. USA president can't debate. Always here on TV. USA. It's a U.S. culture. Hollywood. Yep. I actually think if Donald Trump had curbed his tweets, I think if Donald Trump had actually curbed his tweets, I think he might have won a second time. So now, according to all the checks, they said that Joe Biden won fair and square. But it's just really weird how they stopped the vote counting. And a lot of this vote counting got stopped with swing states, right? So it's really weird. And according to all these swing states who certified these elections, supposedly they all looked into everything and everything's on the up and up, supposedly. So um, now some swing states, they had a Republican watching everything. So, or it came from a Republican area. So, they wouldn't have motivation to go Joe Biden's way. So, as well, those policies, but we would have to take private jet as well. Maybe right. Well, um, I still think the republic form of government is pretty cool. One thing that is unique to the United States is the transfer of power. Um, uh, I think it was a peaceful transfer of power. Like the vice president, normally it's supposed to be the former president welcoming the new president. I kind of wish Trump had done that. I know Trump felt like he didn't lose, and so he didn't feel like he had to do that. Instead, he left it up to his vice president to do that. I wish Trump had not done that, because when Obama was leaving the presidency, he was showing Trump around. Obama was very gracious to Trump, uh, being the newly elected president. Really do feel that Trump should have did that for the Bidens. He should have welcomed Joe Biden, even if he felt like he didn't lose the election. He should have. He, I don't know. I think that was a mistake by the Trumps not staying there and welcoming the Bidens. Instead, he let his vice president do that, and I don't know if that was a good thing to do, even if you thought you didn't lose. So um, it's almost like Trump forgot how gracious the Obamas were. Very gracious to the Trumps, and I wish Trump had done that for the Bidens, because you're supposed to show the world that you're a unified America. Um, I mean, Trump still could have, said his disagreements, but he really, him and Liana Trump should have welcomed the Bidens. He really should have did that. Reagan was good. What a lot of older Americans say true. Yeah, that's true. Ronald Reagan is touted as almost a perfect model as a Republican president. The other thing that's wild about Reagan, he used to be Democrat and then he switched to the Republican Party. Uh, there's been a longtime Democrat who's done that. I can't remember his name. It was a longtime Democrat, white gentleman, who'd been a longtime Democrat. He's currently serving, I just can't remember his name, but he was a longtime Democrat. He felt the Democratic Party did not share his views anymore, so he actually switched from Democrat to Republican. And Ronald Reagan, I don't know if he had the same reasons, but Ronald Reagan used to be a Democrat and switched to a Republican. And then when he ran for presidency, he ran as a Republican, Ronald Reagan. And he ended up being the most popular Republican president that that folks liked. So now on the Democratic side, I think the most popular Democrat that there ever was John F. Kennedy. I also think Bill Clinton was a very popular Democrat. Um, some people, Obama was popular for a lot of people. A lot of white voters voted for Obama twice. So Obama was a very popular president. Um, but yeah, John F. Kennedy. And what's funny is Bill Clinton, when he was a teenager, shook John F. Kennedy's hand. It shows him in a picture. And it shows a young Bill Clinton as a teenager shaking John F. Kennedy's hand. So John F. Kennedy was very popular. Robert F. Kennedy was popular too. Of course, John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and so was Robert Kennedy. He was assassinated. Martin Luther King was assassinated. Um, our own government really ran Martin Luther King through the ringer. Um, our government also gave Malcolm X a hard time as well. I think the public figure of Malcolm X scared a lot of people. Uh, but what's amazing about Malcolm X, and it's in his book, there's a autobiography done about Malcolm X, and um, you know, Malcolm X talked about Elijah Muhammad, and yeah, Fonzo said Bill and his girls, right? Well, when you compare John F. Kennedy, his extra lady was Marilyn Monroe, and then when you compare Bill Clinton, that intern, I don't think they're comparable. I mean, John F. Kennedy, I mean, both were wrong. They shouldn't have gone outside the marriage, but John F. Kennedy was with a movie star, Marilyn Monroe, the most touted as one of the most beautiful women on the planet, right? And then you got Bill Clinton messing around with the intern. It's kind of sad. It's like, I mean, both were wrong. Don't get me wrong, I'm not condoning that, what either guy did. But, uh, and then the tragic death of Marilyn Monroe, that was awfully sad. Kitty was against the Federal Bank. Yeah, I haven't looked into that. Uh, you know what's really wild is the reason he got killed for that. That could be, I guess. I haven't really looked into that. Um, yeah, John F. Kennedy's assassination. A lot of things were going on. Um, I think people in our government didn't like how John F. Kennedy was handling foreign policy, or a lot of them may have disagreed with how John F. Kennedy was handling foreign policy. And once again, I've not studied this, so you guys would have to go study that yourselves. But, anyways, what I was going to say about Malcolm X, he was taught by Elijah Muhammad, you know. And what's wild is when Malcolm X finally went to this one Muslim country, he got to sit down. This was over in the Middle East. And what really shocked Malcolm X, it was white and black Muslims, white European Muslims and Middle East Muslims sitting together on the floor, eating, sharing from the same plate, eating with their hands, both white and black people, right? And that really shook Malcolm X to his core because he had never chilled out with a mixed group like that, white and blacks eating together as brothers. And so Malcolm X, that really changed him profoundly when he came back to the States. Uh, so Malcolm X realized that we really are all brothers and sisters. And it really shook him to his core because it was white Muslims and black Muslims and Middle East Muslims eating together on the floor, eating from the same plate of food. And it really shook Malcolm X and it made him realize white, black, red, yellow, all of us are brothers and sisters. And it really brought home the oneness of humanity for Malcolm X, especially when he saw white and blacks eating together on the floor. Uh, I don't know if some of you are familiar with in Muslim tradition, and I don't know if it's a Muslim tradition, but sometimes they'll sit on the floor. They're sitting on a like a rug or a mat, and all these dishes come out on huge plates, and then they all grab. It's all handheld food that they eat with their hands. And Malcolm X had experienced. That's the first time he experienced whites and blacks believing in the same faith, but also sharing a meal together and eating off the same plate. And that really affected Malcolm X profoundly. Yeah, the Malcolm X movie. And I can't remember if the Malcolm X movie shows that, of when he went over to the Middle East and ate with whites and blacks on the floor. I don't know if that movie got to show that. I know Denzel Washington, I think, played the role of Malcolm X, so that was interesting. But yeah, I think that's why I'm so fascinated with religion, because religion, um, like I grew up Roman Catholic, but later I converted to the Baha'i faith. So religion sometimes, or think about it, whatever country we were born in. Like in my case, I was born in the United States, so more than likely I would have been born a Christian, right? I either would have been born Catholic, Baptist, Protestant. But from the family I was born in, I was most likely going to be born into the Catholic faith. That would have been most likely. Got their own thing, I guess. A lot of yeah. Well, also there's different forms. There's Shia's Islam. Yeah, in Islam there's Shia, and then I think Sunni, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, there's two big schools in Islam, and I haven't studied it extensively, But what's neat in all the major religions is the golden rule. Like in Christianity, it's do unto your brothers as you do unto them. And I think in Islam, uh, it's do not wish for your brother that which you do not wish for yourself, or something like that. And then I think in Judaism is something like love is the entire law. Or I'm paraphrasing really bad. But the point I'm making is, no one of you is a believer until you desire for your brother that which you desire for yourself. I think that's Islam. Oh, that's funny. But I will say this: even though there's three major religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and I didn't realize these three faiths were influenced by Zoroastrianism. And the three wise men, I believe, were from practice the Zoroastrian religion. And I think the Zoroastrian religion has good and evil fighting against each other. And I think that really affected Christianity. It affected Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, the Zoroastrian religion. It's one of the oldest religions in Iran, or at the time it was called Persia. Well, some cultures don't like having their picture taken because it thinks it takes pieces of their soul. So that wouldn't work for me because me and my family would like to take pictures of one another. So that's pretty funny. Sounds like there's some birds arguing with each other. I got pretty much a forest behind me. That's funny. I don't know what's going on with the birds. Maybe a squirrel's bothering them. They're making a lot of noise. Wants to get you free. That's pretty funny. We have all kinds of birds around here because we're surrounded by lots of trees. There's only like 5 houses on my street. Wow, that's a lot of arguing going on with the birds. That was interesting. That's the beauty of doing the live stream on my porch. That's pretty funny. Wow, that's funny. Get you free. That's pretty funny. Man, they're really making some noise, ain't they? Listen to them go. This turned into National Geographic here at Lomo's Travels Back Porch. Wow, that's wild. Yeah, I've seen some. I've seen a large gray owl around here. A large gray owl. I've seen robins, blue jays. I've seen a hawk. I'd seen a hawk eating a squirrel one time. I caught that on film. So that's so funny. National Geographic, Almost Travels channel. That's pretty funny. But yeah, that's part of the beauty of going live. Some peanuts, no. That's pretty funny. I got some walnuts in the house. It's funny the birds are taking over the live stream. I love nature. Matter of fact, I'm about 45 minutes from Brown County State Park. And they're going at it. That's wild. Going crazy. going crazy. Oh, okay. Look at this, guys. It's a gray owl. See the gray owl there in the trees? I think it's a little bird chasing off the gray owl. I don't know if it's capturing the gray owl. Oh, there it goes. They're chasing off the gray owl. A bunch of these little birds were chasing off the gray owl. I don't know if they caught it when I rewatched this live stream. Anyways, the gray owl was right there. The gray owl was right there on that branch. Right up there was the gray owl on the branch, and a bunch of these little birds were chasing the gray owl. So that's pretty cool. That was cool. Yeah, right there was where the gray owl was at. So just as I was talking about the gray owl, a bunch of these little birds, probably what happened is the gray owl probably got by their nest. Hey, what's up? What's happening? Yeah, Fonzo's in the chat here. Yeah, that was cool. That was a little National Geographic going on. So I bet that gray owl got too close. I bet that gray owl got a little too close to those, because the little birds look pretty. There was like 6 little tiny birds chasing off that gray owl. So that was wild. Wow, that was really cool. So that was wild. That's what all that commotion was. Good day, Maria. Lone wolf, wild nature. Yeah. Oh wow! Now I see a little tiny chipmunk. Now there's a little tiny chipmunk chilling where the gray owl was. Yeah, there's plenty of small chipmunks and plenty of gray owls. I'm sorry. There's plenty of squirrels, chipmunks for the gray owl and the hawks to go eat. But the chipmunks are really, really fast, and so are the squirrels. Like I said, I caught a video where one squirrel wasn't so lucky and didn't get away, and the hawk ended up eating the squirrel. So that was the chatter. They were running off that. They were running that gray squirrel off. So that's what the chatter was about. Wow. It was a nice interruption, considering I was talking about politics and stuff. That was pretty funny. It's pretty wild. That was exciting. Never dull here on the Lone Wolf Travels live stream on the back porch. Peace has restored. Yeah, they were those. There was like 4 or 5 birds that chased off the large gray owl. I bet what happened is the large gray owl probably came too close to their bird's nest, and so they chased off the bigger large gray owl. So that was kind of wild. Oh, I have these guys right here are wild birds, and that large gray owl is a wild bird, and uh, they had every good reason to be making a lot of noise. The large gray owl probably could pick off something in their nest, or probably could end up eating one of their babies or something. So 4 or 5 of these really tiny little birds chased off the large gray owl, probably chased it away from the nest. I have a little mixed Yorkie. It's part Chihuahua, part Yorkie. So it's a Yorkie Chihuahua, and her name's Bailey. And it's just one dog. She's 14 years old. Um, and normally they only live to 14 years old, but I know some people have pets that live way past 14 years, and so far she's doing good. So she may live another 4 or 5 years. That'd be cool. But she's an older Yorkie Chihuahua, so she's really cute. She's a long-haired Yorkie Chihuahua, and she's not yappy at all. She's a really cool dog. Oh yeah, he's referring to my wife. Fonzo says he's got a cougar too. my favorite TikTok, my favorite TikTok is the guy's filming his wife in the car, and it's got this sound of, "Oh my God, there's a damn cougar in the car! Holy shit, there's a damn cougar in the car!" And that's one of my favorite TikToks when guys record their wives in the car, and then all of a sudden you hear this sound playing in the background. "Oh my God, there's a damn cougar in the car! You didn't tell me there was a cougar in the car." So yeah, it's pretty funny. Go check out TikTok. Just type in "cougar in the car," and there's probably tons of videos of guys filming their wives who are cougars with that playing in the background. There's a damn cougar in the car. That's pretty funny. So yes, my wife's a very beautiful cougar in the car. She's a mixed cougar. She's uh, she's Peruvian. She's Peruvian Japanese, but she has Peruvian, Japanese, Spanish, Italian. There's probably some native Inca in there as well. And she did the 23andMe thing, and she's got even a little bit of Jewish thing in there. My 23andMe has mainly uh, half British, half Irish, with a little bit of tiny, just 0. It's either 0.2 or 0.4 French and German. So I wasn't surprised about. I have English, Irish, and Scots in me, but I was surprised by the either 0.2 or 0.4 French and German. I didn't know I had that in my background, so that's kind of wild. Maria's going like this. I love Maria's icons going like this. That's pretty funny. So yeah, I've been sharing out your guys' comments during my live stream here. Um, I do that so people will go check out your guys' YouTube channels. So whenever you guys do show up to my live stream, I will share out your comments so that way when people do re-watch this live stream, they'll go check out your guys' channels as well. And that's my way of promoting your guys' channels. I like doing that. So you missed it earlier, Maria. I'd already finished off my coffee, so I've been drinking my coffee this morning here out on the porch, and it's not morning anymore. It's actually 12:45 in the afternoon here, so that's cool. I started off at 11 something in the morning, but I've been enjoying myself here on the back porch. Um, I was talking to Fonzo for a little bit here, and I was sharing my views on politics, and I also was sharing my views on religion. One time, I bought a bunch of agnostic and atheist books, and my little family freaked out. Uh, my little family literally freaked out because I bought some agnostics and atheist books. And the reason I bought them, I wasn't trying to become agnostic or atheist. I bought them because I wanted to learn how to teach the Baha'i faith to those people who are agnostics or atheists. So that's I wanted to find out where agnostics and atheists were coming from. What I learned by reading agnostic and atheist books. What's my favorite state? Uh, I don't know, man. I'm awfully partial to Indiana because I grew up in Midwest Indiana, but I bet I would love Florida, and I bet I would love Colorado. Um, I grew up a little bit in Colorado, but Florida would be interesting. Oh, they. Oh, why did they freak out, Fonzo? I think they were afraid I was going to become agnostic or atheist. I think that's why they freaked out because I bought those kind of books. But I mainly bought those kind of books because I wanted to learn where atheists, agnostics were coming from, and I also wanted to teach in case I ran across an agnostic or atheist. At least I knew what they thought about things. Even though I'm not atheist or agnostic, it was important to me to know how that community viewed things and why do they think the way that they do. Um, um, I think agnostics and atheists keep religious people on their toes. I think that's important. It's definitely kept me on my toes because I still believe in a personal God. Now, there may be, even though I'm a member of the Baha'i faith, not all Baha'is believe the same. I mean, some of the Baha'is believe, they all believe in Baha'u'llah, the manifestation of the Baha'i faith. But um, even though I'm a Baha'i, or even though I follow the Baha'i creed, I sometimes think outside the box that might not be very Baha'i. Um, I still think for myself. My family's Roman Catholic, and I raised my daughter Roman Catholic. I grew up Roman Catholic. Um, I was going to sell all my possessions. This is way before I met my wife. I was going to sell all my possessions, and I was going to go off to a religious monastery, and I was going to possibly take steps to become a Catholic priest. So that's been part of my religious journey. Eventually, I changed my mind about becoming a Catholic priest and decided that God was calling me to get married one of these days. Oh, it's about 12:50 here, Maria, here in Midwest Indiana. Oh, okay, that's interesting, Fonzo. Um, so yeah, I was going to get rid of all my debt, and like I said, this is way before I met my wife. I've been married to my wife for 30 years. So on this religious journey, way before I met my wife, I was going to get rid of all my debt, and I was going to go off to seminary school, and I was going to take those steps to try to become a Catholic priest. After meeting with this one priest named Father Paul Cutter, on our final meeting, I said, "Hey, I don't think God's calling me to be a Catholic priest anymore. I think God's calling me to get married down the road one of these days." I did let the priest know. Not Gal has not changed my mind. I just simply wanted to. Yeah, I told this priest, Father Paul Cutter. He looked like David Letterman. Father Paul Cutter did. Uh, they probably could increase their. Uh, more guys probably would become priests if they were probably allowed to be married. So, but I don't know if the Catholic Church will ever change that. Yeah, Adrian Gibson's the karaoke dude. Um, so yeah, I didn't become a Catholic priest, or I didn't even go off to seminary school. And but I did meet with this one priest that looked like David Letterman. His name is Father Paul Cutter. And on our last meeting, I told him I don't think God's called me to be a priest. I think I want to get married one of these days. And then before the year before I met my wife, I ended up converting to the Baha'i faith. And then I ended up falling in love with a Catholic girl who's from Peru, South America. Um, she was fine with me being a member of the Baha'i faith. So we ended up having a Catholic wedding and we ended up having a Baha'i wedding. And so I ended up getting married twice in one day. We had the Catholic ceremony first, and then we had the Baha'i ceremony, wedding ceremony at the clubhouse at the apartment place where we were staying at. So we got married in the Catholic church down in Brown County, down in Nashville, Brown County, Nashville, Indiana. We got married in a Catholic church, and then we got married at the clubhouse where we were staying at. So that was pretty cool. What's your sister's name? So, so that was really cool. Yeah, I feel you, Fonzo. Um, what's fun? Well, anyways, so yeah, um, became a member of Baha'i Faith before I met my wife, and then she was cool with me being a Baha'i. She's still cool with me being a Baha'i, and we've been married for 30 years, and we raised our daughter Catholic, and my daughter ended up getting a full ride scholarship to a major university, and then my daughter graduated from college. Uh, what's neat, my daughter did get to go over to Israel. She did get to go walk around the Baha'i Gardens. So my daughter has nothing but a positive outlook on the Baha'i faith. My Even though my daughter's Roman Catholic, she really thinks the Baha'is are cool, and she likes the Baha'i faith. She thinks it's cool. Uh, my wife uh, also uh, likes the Baha'is and thinks they're nice. But both my daughter and my wife are still Roman Catholic, and I'm still a member of the Baha'i faith. Uh, what I was going to say is, even though I'm a member of the Baha'i faith, I still think for myself on political views. I still think for myself on religious views. Um, one of the things I've taken or believe internally may not be what the Baha'is believe. I stopped believing in hell and Satan like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I stopped believing hell and Satan 5 or 6 years ago. Uh, where did I come from that conclusion? I used my human logic. I don't know if other Baha'is would do that. Uh, some Baha'is may still believe in the devil and hell. Some Christians, the majority of Christians, still believe in devil or hell. There's the majority of Muslims probably still believe in the devil or hell. In Judaism, I don't know if they believe in the devil or hell. They might. Um, but for me, about maybe 6 years ago, I stopped believing Satan and hell. I don't judge anyone who still believes in Satan and hell. I do believe in a personal God. Oh, uh, oh, you want me to type in there okay. I'm going to type in Baha'i.org. That's where you can learn about it. Oops. Yeah, go to Baha'i.org. So if you go to Baha'i.org, um, yeah, just type in Baha'i.org and it'll teach you more about the Baha'i faith. And then I'll just simply type in Baha'i, the Baha'i. Oops, what's wrong with my typing? Faith. And if you're ever in Chicago, so that's the name of the religion, the Baha'i faith. Okay, I will check it out. Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. Um, and to me, it doesn't matter if people become Baha'i or not. It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter if you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Hindu. It doesn't matter to me if you're of a belief or if you're not of a belief. Uh, I think all I care about is that people are good people and that they're good to one another. Uh, I don't worry about whether you believe in God or not. Um, I just hope you are a good person and that you treat people good and kind and compassionate. Um, does a person have to become a certain religion to be a kind and compassionate person? I don't think so. And that's from my science. The science side of me tells that. My human logic tells me that you don't um, you don't have to pray 3 times a day to become a good person. I mean, if that's what it takes to become a good person, by all means, pray 3 times a day. But uh, but yeah, my science and logic is I have a lot of science and logic. Um, oh, the Baha'is roots can probably be found in the Babi faith. First, there was the Babi faith, and later on, a lot of Babis became followed Baha'u'llah and became Baha'is. Um, the Babi faith, and it talks about that at Baha'i.org. You can learn about the Bab because he's the one that started the Babi faith, and then later on came the Baha'i faith with the teachings of Baha'u'llah. So the name Baha'u'llah means the glory of God or glory of the Father, and oh, when I say science, I'm just talking about your basic science that anyone would know. Um, gravity, what makes up water, that kind of science. Um, Now, what's neat about science, this is what I love about scientists, whatever their field of expertise, like let's say, anyways, let's say a scientist is giving his opinion on something that's not his field of expertise. The first thing that scientist will say is, before I give my opinion, you may want to ask these other scientists because that's their field. But I will try to do an educated guess and give you my opinion. But once again, please go to those scientists where that's their actual field. And that's what I love about scientists. They will hedge their bets before they give especially if they're about to give their opinion on a science that's not an area they've studied. That's what I love absolutely about science and scientists. I love that. Are there good and bad scientists? Sure, there probably are. But if you want to maintain your science credentials, uh, yeah, if you want to maintain your science credentials, or if you want to have any credibility in science, you really have to be able to really study that specific scientific field. Um, and then not only that, there's a scientific peer review. Uh, whatever scientific experiment I do to try and prove my hypothesis, someone in another lab should be able to do the same thing. So, um, so you got to show evidence, you know, and and I know when people hear the word theory, they think it's a guess, but if they were to study science, they would learn theory means more. Theory doesn't mean guess. It takes a lot of evidence to become a scientific theory, and if you study science, you'll learn that's really what theory means. In order for something to become a theory, a lot of a lot of different anecdotal evidence has to come in line to become for something to become a theory. Science is interesting, but are ignorant and believe because they are scientists. You should believe them. That is true, Fonzo. Um, uh, I believe that as a true statement. Kind of like when you look after your own health care, or if you look after your own self as a patient, you you can't rely on. You almost have to educate yourself in your own health care when dealing with doctors and physicians and nurses. Um, you have to do your own research, you know, especially if a doctor tries to. Now, this is not medical advice. I want to say that through the outset. This is not medical advice. I am not a doctor. I am not an MD. But I think in my own healthcare, I try to I try to study up. Like if anyone tries to prescribe me any kind of medication, I don't even care if it's a cold medication. I try to really study up on uh, whether I want to take a certain medicine here or there, or whether I want to take a shot here or there. All those are medical decisions. Now, I do believe medical decisions should be between a doctor and patient. I don't think should be. I don't think the government has a role to play in that, unless it's trying to bring a product to the public square as quickly as possible to solve a pandemic, which we all were a part of. So that's interesting. But but yeah, my human logic and science just I really love science and I love human logic. Is science sometimes wrong and is human logic sometimes wrong? Sure, sure it is. But it's still I the thing I love about science is it teaches you not how necessarily how to think, but how to think critically and how to question. Uh, some things get solved a little better if you learn how to question and think about things critically. So I think that's important. Um, yeah. But anyways, I love human logic and I love science. And one of the principles in the Baha'i faith is that religion and science are one. And I think the reason they have that principle is to weed out any superstitions that may be found in religion. So now that's just my opinion. I'm not speaking as a member of the Baha'i faith. I'm speaking as a person that's just my opinion. So uh, yeah, anything I say may not be what the Baha'i faith would condone or even what the Catholic Church condones. It's just purely J.R. Lone Wolf's Travels opinions. That's all it is. Yeah. But man, I just can't say enough good things about science and critical thinking. It's just so important. And nowadays, I think I'm not going to generalize right here, but it seems like, well, okay, I'm about to generalize. It seems like, or to my observation, sometimes we throw out the window critical thinking and science reasoning. Um, uh, all over the world, sometimes religious superstition is almost used over our critical thinking. Like I said, critical thinking and human logic seem to get thrown out the window sometimes. And sometimes a lot of human suffering is caused by that. You know, um, I want to say at one time there was a religious establishment um, making people think using condoms was a sin, and so that ended up hurting a lot of people. And so that's what I'm saying. You got to use your human logic and science, right? Sometimes religions can throw stuff out there that puts people in danger, and that's why you got to use this noggin which the Creator gave you. Uh, if there is a personal God, I believe He gave you critical thinking skills. So, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend or say what God thinks or doesn't think because I don't know what God thinks or doesn't think. I one time made the mistake of saying something to my wife that freaked her out. You're correct around the world. Yeah. One time I made the mistake of telling my wife that I hope there's a heaven, right? And anyways, my wife just freaked out. What do you mean? What do you mean you hope there's a heaven? And I told my wife, I said, well, I've never died before, so I don't, I hope there is. And I love the idea of surviving by death. I love that idea. So, yeah, sometimes I got to keep that to myself and my family because they may be really steeped in religion, where I'm steeped in certain religious. Uh, I, I feel in my bones certain deepness in religion, but at the same time, my human logic is going by what am I experiencing at the time. You know, so uh, I don't know. I just don't like to tell people what to think or how to act or uh, sometimes she can be, and sometimes she can be very open minded. So I'm not going to generalize on her. Sometimes my lady can be very open minded, and sometimes, uh, yeah, sometimes I've even caught myself being very open minded and sometimes not so open minded. But I do want all human beings to treat each other with compassion and mercy and kindness. Or if I had a wish, all human beings around the world would treat each other with compassion and mercy and kindness. Um, but one of the ways to show that mercy, compassion, and kindness work is so you practice that in your own life too. You kind of gotta you gotta show yourself as an example of passion and compassion and kindness. Um, People are more impressed if you try to live that in your lives than too many people. I'm about to eat this navel orange right here. Too many people are of words. There's a Baha'i saying that goes, "Let your deeds, not your words, be your adorning." So right now in this live stream, I'm giving you guys a lot of words and not necessarily my deeds. But if you were to ever meet me in person, you would realize the same person I'm showing you guys here is how I am in my everyday life. Mm, mm. That is a very good navel orange. Look at the beautiful color on that. Look how beautiful that is. It's really delicious. But but yeah, whenever I'm on my live stream here, just keep in mind I'm just a regular dude on. I'm just some regular dude on YouTube, just giving his opinion on stuff. Um, I'll try to give you my honest opinion when I give you my opinion on stuff. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm the be all and everything all of my. I do want people to investigate. Now that is in the Baha'i faith. It's called individual investigation of the truth, meaning you don't rely on the knowledge of your neighbor. You go out and learn things for yourself. You go about around in the world, and you don't rely necessarily on the knowledge of your neighbor. You kind of test things out for yourself. At least that's my understanding of it. But the principle of it is called individual investigation of the truth. And one of my favorite ways to investigate is using the scientific method. Um, what do I mean by that? Using the scientific method, um, you point out, or how can I describe it? You come up with two possibilities, and then you try to choose the one that makes the most sense. So I guess you could say that's the scientific, or one of the ways of deducing and coming to, or trying to come up with an answer on how to answer certain topics. Mm. Mm. Wow, that was really juicy. All right, navel orange eaten. Oh, Fonzo says, okay, so you should find out your own fate. Well, like in my case, my faith was kind of chosen for me, right? Because I was born in the States. I mean, I was mainly born in an Irish Catholic family. So the chance of me being raised Roman Catholic was probably 100%. So, so yeah, then. So you should find out your own faith. Oh, gotcha, Fonzo. Um, I will say this: I did um, the Baha'i faith. I didn't recognize the Baha'i faith right away when I came across it. Matter of fact, I was trying to convert a Baha'i girl back to the Catholic faith, and the only reason I read up things about the Baha'i faith was to try to disprove it. And then I end up later recognizing who Baha'u'llah was, and then I basically recognized who the Bab was. And then I realized these were two new manifestations of God that had came. Uh, each of them brought in a new faith into the world, and each of them were basically manifestations of God. Baha'is look at Jesus Christ as a manifestation of God, whose title is called the Son of God. Um, I think, um, yeah, there's a lot of Baha'is come from a Christian background. I mean, there's been a lot of Baha'is who've converted from Christianity to the Baha'i faith. There's been some Jewish people who've converted from Judaism to the Baha'i faith. Now, and of course, there's been some Muslims who've converted from Muslim faith to the Baha'i faith. So uh, I know a lot of earlier Muslims before the Babi faith came about. A lot of them got in big trouble from converting from Islam to the Babi faith. And I know a lot of Baha'is got in trouble from converting from Islam to the Baha'i faith. Um, so that was really frowned upon. Uh, so yeah, they made their communities very upset, whether they became Babis or whether they became Baha'is. They made their Islamic communities very upset when they converted to another faith. So, uh, where in the Christian faith, uh, they might have been disappointed, but they didn't. They weren't going to threaten your life that you left Christianity and became a Baha'i. So it's a total different experience. Same thing in Judaism. I don't think they're threatened if they leave Judaism and become a Christian, because there have been people who were in Judaism that later on became Christian. Same thing with Buddhism. I don't think Buddhists are ever threatened if they become Christian, or even if they become Jewish, or even if they become Baha'i. Uh, but there's something special in Islam that makes it very detrimental to switch from Islam and convert to another faith. So um, now some of the faiths do get upset if you switch from a religion and go to no belief at all. A lot of religions frown upon that and get very upset. And some people get so upset they want to treat these people real cruelly, right? Who switch from religion and now are no faith at all. Yeah. Uh, yeah, anyone leaving Islam, it's very dangerous. Regardless of whether you switch to another religion or switch to no belief at all, it can be very dangerous. Yeah. Uh, Not just dangerous, just scary. It's really, really scary. Um, I would love to see Islam reform, but I think it's going to take the people from within Islam to reform it. Christianity had that. I mean, a long time ago, I want to say during the Spanish Inquisition, if you shared any kind of unbelief, uh, you could be looked at possibly being set on fire. This was in early Christianity during the Spanish Inquisition. If you stated that you had no belief in God, you could possibly be tied at the stake and burned alive. So, um, yeah, does that make sense today? That doesn't make a lot of sense today. But yeah, I always thought that was weird that they wanted to put someone to death for not believing anymore. Uh, yeah, our God is a loving God, so we're going to put you to, we're going to tie you to a stake and burn you alive, just because we want to show how much we care about your soul. And so that really wasn't that far in the past. You know, a lot of people forget that Christianity kind of acted like Islam, especially if you left and didn't believe anymore. Um, so that's what I don't understand. Now that does not mix with my human logic, right? That you want to threaten someone with death if they stopped believing. I mean, Christianity, like during the Spanish Inquisition, you were looking at possible death if you left Christianity and went to unbelief. You were definitely looking at death. So, and it's weird that in we live in 2022 that people are still the unbelievers and the agnostics are still threatened with death. The atheists are still threatened with death to this day. There's some religious mindsets that still want to hurt these people. It's terrible. And oh man, and then as far as gay people, same thing. They're threatened with death as well in all these really religious countries. Yeah, it's yeah. I want to say in some of the Muslim countries, they throw gay people off of roofs and stuff. It's really it's horrible. It's and like I said, that doesn't make sense to my human logic either. Yeah, it's really really scary. Um, yes. Ooh, sorry, I turned this live stream to a downer, but we're so much better as a species, man. When we're uh, here, let's put it on the upside. We're better as the ooh, the sun's starting to creep in. Let me go like this. we're much better as a species when we're more all inclusive. Um, we're better as a species when we're all more inclusive and caring for one another. And yeah, bad religious practices and just bad. That's why you have the human rights thing that looks out for human rights. Yeah, we're much better as a species when we look after everybody's human rights. Yeah, we're much better with the. We're much better, or let's just say this: society suffers less when we're more inclusive as a society. When we're more welcoming and more inclusive as a society, uh, we're usually more better off. When we don't threaten those who are different from us or have a different lifestyle, we're just human suffering is less. Or when we view the human heart as one, and when we view the whole world as one family that needs to get along and take care of one another, we do so much better as a species. We do so much better as a species. So, so with that measurement, humanity still has far, far to go. We just need to increase. Okay, here's here's our household, right? So we grow our family to the city, and then we grow our family to the state, and then we grow our family to the United States, and then we grow our family to other parts of the world, and finally we grow our family to where it encompasses the whole planet. So a lot of it is trying to make humanity one, right? But it's going to take all this. We got to grow all the way till we cover all the people of the planet, and that we're all. We need to. Humanity's waking up to that, to the oneness of humanity. It really is waking up to that. It's slow though. The process is really slow. Um, a lot of human suffering still going on because we haven't got that to that oneness of humanity yet. But if we get there, if we finally get to the oneness of humanity, there's going to be less human suffering. More people are going to be prosperous. There's going to be less hunger in the world. Yeah, less starving in the world, less hunger in the world, less poor in the world. This is if we start really taking care of one another around the world. The more the world takes care of one another, the less suffering there will be in the world, you know. And like I said, you don't have to necessarily tie that to one particular religion. You also don't have to. I mean, religion, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. That's a cool philosophy. Um, or if you can't be of the same faith, at least look at what you share as your common humanity. And the world is really waking up to its common humanity. It really is. It's just being slow to waking up to it. Oh, there you go. Fonzo says greed, religion, and war. And then his other comment is, how could you solve that? Don't forget the days people getting more selfish. I don't know. I've seen natural disasters happen around the United States, and um, just when you think human beings are selfish, a natural like during the Katrina natural disaster, people and neighbors came and helped one another. The most recent natural disaster was in Texas, and people from all around the country came and helped out Texas. A natural earthquake happened in Iran, right? And the first boots on the ground were the United States that helped Iran during an earthquake. Um, so, like I said, there were U.S. military boots on the ground as soon as right after the earthquake in Iran, right? And it really freaked out the Iranian people. Here, these U.S. soldiers were helping out. There's, as far as the United States, half the population, um, a large part of the Christian population in the United States generally wants to help out its poor, its needy. A lot of Christians send money overseas to take care of the poor and needy around the world. A lot of Buddhists do that. Um, in Judaism, uh, they believe in taking care of the poor, the needy. Um, in Islam, they do that in Islam. They take care of the poor and needy in Islam. Um, People of all different religions and people who have no religion at all have also donated to charities that help out people around the world. Um, so, regardless of what your background is, uh, there's different ways that people can give to charities to help the poor around the world. So, there's still plenty of people giving money to charities around the world. Now, sometimes governments can mismanage money from charities around the world. That has happened. But then you got to fix that quick so the money can get to the right people to help the right people. So, but yeah, Fonzo, I wouldn't give up on the human spirit. There's still a large part of humanity that still thinks of its fellow brothers and sisters around the world. So don't give up on the human race yet. There's still a large part of the human race that looks at its humanity and wants to take care of those around the world. So I'll give you an example. At my own wife's Catholic church, they collected money to put fresh water wells in different parts of the world for the poor so that they could have the simple enjoyment of fresh drinking water. So that's super cool. Yeah, that's what the Democrats, or I'm sorry, that's what the Republicans are asking for. This phrase that Fonzo said, less government and more freedom. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I think government has a role. Um, like during the Depression, if you look and study the Depression, that is a part where the federal government did step in, at least help heal, get us back on our feet. And then once we got back on our feet, then they rolled back those things that were helping out during the Depression. Um, yeah, Michigan had poor water. Funny you mentioned the water thing. Um, People were getting all kinds of diseases from the water in Michigan, and uh, not all of Michigan, but parts of Michigan was getting really bad water. And come to find out, the people that were at the top running that show basically screwed up, and all kinds of lawsuits came out of that. And as far as I know, I think they fixed the certain part of Michigan that was having water trouble. I think now they've since fixed it. So, um, but yeah, anyone that sees yellow come out of their water tap, they shouldn't drink that water. Um, but yeah, that's why you got to use your human logic, especially if you see yellow or rust come out of your water. Yeah, you probably should not drink that water. I don't care how much you treat it, you probably shouldn't drink that water. So, yeah, I'm talking about something that happened. Oh don't know. When did that happen in Michigan? It seems like it's been 2 or 3 years ago. Seems like it's been 2 years ago that water crazy thing happened in Michigan. But yeah, that's. I think charities are working on that around the world, getting people clean water, making sure people have clean water, making sure people have safe food to eat. Um, oh my God, the late Sam Kinison joked about how he would see uh, the late Sam Kinison, famous stand-up comedian Sam Kinison. I'm getting ready to pop open my cherry bubbly sparkling water here. There we go. The late Sam Kinison once joked during one of his comedic stand-up routines that maybe the places where there's starvation and famine, they go out into the desert and they tell the people, we're going to pile you all on these trucks and we're going to take you to where the food's at. We're going to not leave you here in the desert. We're going to move you to where the food's at. And, everyone laughed during that thing, but sometimes comedy speaks a lot of truth. Like he picks up the sand. See, you can't grow anything here. Let's take you where we can grow the food, and we can start feeding you. So, oh, there you go. But yeah, it's so funny. He made a good point during his stand up. You got to move the people out of the desert and take them to the place where they can grow their own food. Take them to the place where there's food. Don't leave them in the desert. But yeah, sometimes charities can teach governments on how to move things faster when helping in a crisis. Yeah, I don't know why I got on this topic. That's so funny. So, all right, I think I'm going to try and wrap it up here. But before I do, I'm going to try and go all the way to the very top comment here. All right, there were some other comments that were here earlier. I think Fonzo, you hung out would be the longest though. I know I'm missing some other comments. So let's see. Oh, there's the other channel. So I'm going to share out your guys' comments and hope that you guys. I do this sometimes on some of my live streams. I'll share out some very last comments. And my hope is whoever rewatches these live streams, they'll come and check out your channels. Other comments, sometimes StreamYard doesn't keep all the comments. So I will say the O Show was here, Adrian Gibson was here, Michelle Acrone was here, uh, Owen from the O Show was here. The other channel that was here was the Outdoors with Big Matt was here. And like I said, this is what I do when I wrap up my live stream. I end up sharing out your guys' comments. And once again, it's in hopes that whoever rewatches this live stream, they'll go check out your guys' channels here. So that's my hope. All right. So thanks, Fonzo, for hanging out with me. Also, thanks to So thanks for Fonzo for hanging out with me. Thanks to Maria for hanging out with me. Also, a big thanks. Also, a big thanks to. Oh, I appreciate that, Fonzo. Thanks, my man. So, big thanks to Fonzo. Big thanks to Maria. Big thanks to Outdoors with Big Matt. Thank you, Big Matt. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, the Osho, Owen from the Osho. Um, yeah, thank you all for showing up to this live stream. Also, if you guys get a chance, or if you're coming across this live stream for the first time, or if this is the first time you're seeing one of my videos or one of my live streams, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Lomos Travels channel. Yeah, make sure you like and subscribe. Also, comment on all your favorite videos. And then make sure you hit that notification bell so that each time I go live, you'll get a notification of me going live. And then also, whenever I throw up new videos on the Lomos Travels channel here, you guys will get a notification about that video. I know you guys are on all different time zones, so I'm going to say good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Hope you all are doing well. Take care, everyone. And I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Take care, everyone. Peace. Later, Gators. Take care, everyone. Peace. I'll talk to you later. Take care, all. Later, Gators. Cheers. Cheers. Peace. Take care, everyone. Have a good day. Later, Gators.